ஆழ்வார் திருடிகளே சரணம், எம்பெருமானார் திருடிகளே சரணம், ஜியர் திருடிகளே சரணம், ஜியர் திருடிகளே சரணம். ஸ்ரீசைலேஷ தயாபாத்திரம் தீபக்தியாதிகுணார்ணவம் யதீந்திர பிரவணம் வந்தே நம்ம ஜாமாத்திரம் முனிம் நம்ம ஜாமாத்திர யோகீந்திர பாதரேகாமயம் சதா சதா யத்தாத்ம சத்தாதி ராமானுஜமுனிம் பஜே லக்ஷ்மீநாத சமாரம்பாம் நாத யாமன மத்தியமா அஸ்மத் ஆச்சாரிய பரியந்தாம் வந்தே குரு பரம்பராம் யோ நித்யமச்சுதமதாம்புஜ யுக்மருக்ம व्यामोहतस्ततितराणि तृणायमेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दैहिकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता योतयस्तनया भूति सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मतन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य न कुलपतेरुकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रीगुणं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं शरश्च महताह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरे योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्ग्रेण प्रहालेतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. We have started this series of dhivyaprabandham lectures in English, and we've seen the basic introduction to what are dhivyaprabandhams, what are their greatness, who gave us that, and so on. And in the last session we saw about the common thaniyans which we recite at every occasion whenever we do dhivyaprabandha parayanam, stotra grantha parayanam, or whenever we do kAlakshEpam. At all times we start with the common thaniyans. So we have to know the meanings of the common thaniyans first before we get into dhivyaprabandhams. So we saw what is a thaniyan and how the thaniyans glorify the author, the particular prabandham's greatness, the object of the prabandham, the greatness of that. So these aspects are usually glorified in the thaniyan for each prabandham. And we also have a common set of thaniyans which are recited in the beginning of all of our parayanam and kAlakshEpam and so on. Those are known as common thaniyans, podu thaniyans, and that is what we are starting with. So in the last session we saw about Srishailesha dhayApAthram thaniyan, how it came about, and maNavALa, who is the object of that thaniyan, who is the one who is glorified in that thaniyan, what are his greatness, why Bhagavan chose maNavALa as his AchArya. All of these were seen in the last session. Now we will see the meanings for all of these thaniyans, starting with Srishailesha dhayApAthram thaniyan. So this first thaniyan is on maNavALa. This was composed by Sri Ranganathan himself. Bhagavan, Sri Ranganatha himself came as a small boy. He stood in front of Varavaramani Swami, maNavALa. When maNavALa was completing the eedu kAlakshEpam, which was rendered in front of Sri Ranganatha. So it was a long period where maNavALa went through the meanings of Thiruvaimozhi with the help of eedu vyAkyAnam, which was given by nampiLLai and documented by vAdhikEsari. Not only that commentary, that vyAkyAnam was used by maNavALa. That was the main vyAkyAnam which was explained, but in addition to that, maNavALa also explained special aspects from various other commentaries like thirukkurugaippirAn piLLAn's 6000 padi, nanjIyar's 9000 padi, and then periyavAchchAn piLLai's 24,000 padi, that is 24,000 padi, vAdhikEsari Adigunarajiyar's 12,000 padi. So these are all different commentaries for Thiruvaimozhi. Thiruvaimozhi is popularly known in north as Sahasragiti. So it's 1000 pasarams, and hence it is known as azhagiya there. And this Thiruvaimozhi is the most important prabandham in all of dhivyaprabandhams, and it is the essence of Samavedam. So this Thiruvaimozhi has been commented upon by many Acharyas. So we saw thirukkurugaippirAn piLLAn, who is the Abhimana Putra, Jnana Putra of Bhagavad Ramanuja. Bhagavad Ramanuja himself ordered piLLAn to write a commentary for Thiruvaimozhi. That's how the commentary tradition started in dhivyaprabandhams, for dhivyaprabandhams. After piLLAn's commentary, which is known as padi, that is 6000 padi. Padi means a collection of 32 letters. That is what is padi. So this, it's a standard measurement for how big a grantham is. So if it is said that it is 6000 padi, that means 6032 letters basically. And it's not exactly 6000. It need not be exactly 6000. It's approximation, because usually they check the weight, and those days they will tell, okay, this is so many palm leaves. So this is how heavy it is. So it will be approximation only. So first commentary for Thiruvaimozhi was 6000 padi, and then Vedanti nanjIyar, he gave 9000 padi, 9000 padi, and then nampiLLai, that is Kalivari swAmy. Kalivari swAmy is how he is known in the north. He gave the eedu 36,000 padi, 36,000 padi. It is the most um, lengthy commentary for Thiruvaimozhi. And his disciple, one of his disciples, vAdhikEsari, he is known as Krishna Pada. There are two Krishnas, vAdhikEsari and periyavAchchAn. Both are known as, they are named as Krishna only. They both are like eyes, two eyes for nampiLLai, AchArya swAmy, that is Kalivari swAmy. So vAdhikEsari documented nampiLLai's commentary, that is known as 36,000 padi, eedu 36,000 padi. And then periyavAchchAn, based on the orders of nampiLLai, he wrote a commentary named 24,000 padi. Finally, there is vAdhikEsari jIyar. He gave the commentary of 12,000 padi, that is 12,000 padi. It is actually word by word meaning for Thiruvaimozhi pasarams, because there were commentaries, but there were no word by word meanings, padapadartham. So that was given by vAdhikEsari jIyar. So with these commentaries, maNavALa gave this lecture series, mainly focused on eedu, but he used other commentaries to get additional context and explanations and so on. And not only that, he used Tamil grammar and Tamil literature, Sanskrita grammar and Sanskrita literature wherever required to explain the concepts clearly. And then Itihasa Puranas, all the Puranas, all the Itihasas. And then Bhagavad Gita, of course. And then Vedantam. All of these were gathered by maNavALa in his divine heart. And then he explained elaborately the meanings for Thiruvaimozhi with the context of all of these. So we have to imagine how wonderful it would have been having whole day of Thiruvaimozhi explanation only. That is their whole task, because Bhagavan stopped all the other Utsavams. Srirangam is known for its festivals. Every month you come here, there will be some festival. The Brahmotsavam will be there. And then float festival, Tepotsavam just completed. And then Panguni Brahmotsavam will be there. Chitrai Brahmotsavam will be there. Vasantotsavam will be there. Kodai Utsavam will be there. Pavitrotsavam will be there. Many Utsavams. Adhyayana Utsavam is there. And then Alvar Acharya's Utsavams are there. So here it's full of Utsavams only. Almost in the calendar, you will have 300 days, 320 days of Utsavams. But at that time, when Bhagavan wanted to listen to maNavALa, being a disciple, he stopped all the utsavam. He said, our enjoyment is fully Thiruvaimuri only. So let's just enjoy Thiruvaimuri. So that's how they enjoyed Thiruvaimuri for a period of 10 months, approximately 10 months. It was started after Pavitrotsavam, and then it got ended in Ani Masam Tirumula Nakshatra. So this Ani Tirumulam is the advent of Sri Shailesha dhayApAthram. On the day of completion only, Sri Ranganatha comes as a small boy and he gives this meaning for, he gives this shlokam for the glorification of maNavALa maNavALa. So we've seen to some extent about all of these. And we also saw in the last session how nampiLLai remained as a wonderful disciple. He manifested the qualities of a disciple very perfectly. What are all expected from a disciple? The disciple should first praise the AchArya, Guru, teacher in public. So Sri Ranganatha came in public and gave this Sri Shailesha dhayApAthram and praised his AchArya. This is on top of giving a platform for AchArya for 1 year, for full period of time, and listening to those lectures, sitting patiently in front of him. So that itself is a glorification, giving honor to AchArya, remaining patient and being very humble. He manifested all of those qualities, and then he verbally also praised his AchArya. So this is first commitment for the first duty of the disciple, sishya. Second is the sishya should give his most valuable possession to AchArya. That is what he should submit to AchArya. Bhagavan submits his Adishesha Pariyankam to maNavALa maNavALa. That is why we see maNavALa maNavALa having this unique asanam of Adishesha. So that was given by Bhagavan, and that is his best possession, because that is what establishes his supremacy. So whoever is seated on Adishesha is Supreme Lord. So that main identity itself is given to maNavALa maNavALa. And then the third one is making sure that Acharya's glories are spread everywhere. It is one thing to praise Acharya in front of him, but it is another thing to spread that glory everywhere. So Bhagavan made sure that the Sri Shailesha dhayApAthram, this thanyan, is recited in every Divyadesham at all times, whenever there is a Seva Kadam or kAlakshEpam or whatever. This is compulsorily recited. So Acharya's glories are spread everywhere. So that is a duty of disciple, and that was manifested by Lord Ranganatha. And then conducting the Tirunakshatra Utsavam of the Acharya and conducting Tirtha Utsavam of Acharya after the Acharya ascends to Paramapadam. These two are also important duties of as a disciple. So Bhagavan here in Srirangam, he conducts the Tirunakshatra Utsavam and Tiruvadhyayana Utsavam, Tirtha Utsavam of maNavALa maNavALa. From main Sannidhi, from nampiLLai's Sannidhi, Sri Ranganatha Sannidhi, Archaka will come, Kankirya will come. They will all do service in maNavALa maNavALa Sannidhi on that particular day. Even Bogam comes, Prasadam comes from periya, from perumAL to AchArya here. So everything related to Tirunakshatram and Tirtha Utsavam are conducted by Shishya for the AchArya. And that is also manifested by Sri Ranganatha here towards maNavALa maNavALa. So in this manner, he remained as a perfect disciple for maNavALa maNavALa and fulfilled all his commitments. This is on top of the most basic thing. It is the disciple's responsibility to take care of Acharya's bodily needs. So that is a basic commitment for disciple in before even going to other aspects. So that is also taken care by Ranganatha only. Ranganatha only gave the maTam for maNavALa maNavALa when he came. So the place to stay, and then he arranges all the disciples to come and serve here. All the disciples of maNavALa maNavALa were sincerely serving maNavAL maNavAL and taking care of all his Thiruvaradhanam, bhikshA, everything is taken care by the disciples. That is all instigated by Bhagavan only, being the antaryami of all the disciples. So he has taken care of the foundation, basic needs, and then subsequent duties are also well fulfilled by Sri Ranganatha. So this is a very important aspect for us to understand how a disciple should be, and Bhagavan himself demonstrates it personally in front of maNavAL maNavAL. So in this particular thaniyan, we can understand the greatness of maNavAL maNavAL. Srishailesha dhayApAthram, dhivyaprabandham gunarnavam, yatheendra bande ramya jamataram munim. So here, four aspects of maNavAL maNavAl are identified. Actually, three aspects, and then the name of maNavAL maNavAl, Srishailesha dhayApAthram. So here, Srishailesha is piLLai. Srishailesha is the AchArya of maNavAL maNavAl, Varavaramuni Swami. So he is the recipient of such Thirumalai Alvar, piLLai, his mercy. So maNavAL maNavAl got AchArya's mercy completely, which is very, very important in our Sampradayam. AchArya Abhimaname Uttaratham, says AchArya. Here AchArya Abhimanam means AchArya's mercy only. So Bhagavan is giving AchArya for us, and that AchArya will give us mercy so that we become well shaped, well reformed, and then we go to Bhagavan in a better way. So that is what is done by AchArya. And that AchArya's mercy was very aptly placed in maNavAL maNavAl. So his main objective is being the recipient of Sri Shailesha, his AchArya. The Bhaktiyadi Gunarnakam. He is an ocean of qualities such as Jnanam, Bhakti, and so on. Dhi is Jnanam, Bhakti is devotion. So he is an ocean of all auspicious qualities. Acharya should be an ideal role model for others, having very noble qualities, very high discipline, high humility, everything should be complete. So all of those are mentioned in this Di Bhakti Adi Gunanam, because this Adi is etc. So every quality we can imagine, we will expect from an Acharya. All of those qualities are present fully in maNavAL maNavAl, and it's not in small quantity, it's like an ocean. So he is overflowing with auspicious qualities. And then yatheendra, he is having so much attachment towards Yatheendra. Yatheendra is Bhagavad Ramanuja. Even in his own Upadesha Ratnamalai, he starts with Enda Thiruvaimozhippillai Innarulaar. First, he identifies his Acharya's mercy. And then in the end, he says, Enda Edirasar Innarulukku Ilakkagi. So, whoever recites this Upadesha Ratnamalai, whoever learns this Upadesha Ratnamalai, they'll become target of Bhagavad Ramanuja's mercy. Because he is already a target of Bhagavad Ramanuja's mercy. By his grace, we will get that mercy also. So, that is his state of mind always. He is always having so much attachment towards Bhagavad Ramanuja. So, that is Yatheendra Pravanam, having great love towards Yatheendra. Bande Ramya Jamataram Muni. That Ramajamataram Muni, that Ramajamataram Muni, I worship. That is the meaning of this shlokam. As I told previously also and in the beginning also, this is a very unique thaniyan which brings out the greatness of maNavAL maNavAl in the most apt manner. Because Bhagavan can explain it better than anyone else. Nobody can explain better than Bhagavan. And he has done this wonderful thaniyan for the glorification of his Acharya, that is Varavaramuni Swami, maNavAL maNavAl. So here, one question may arise. We've seen this before. Yatheendra Pravanam, maNavAL maNavAl is a reincarnation of Bhagavad Ramanuja. Now, he is having great love towards Bhagavad Ramanuja. That means he is having great affection, love towards his own self. Because they are not different. They are the same How can one have um, like veneration and devotion towards oneself? That is not fair, no? Yes, if we have towards somebody else, it is fair. But Manavada maNavAL is just glorifying Bhagavad Ramanuja is like glorifying himself only. How is it apt? For that, our Acharyas have explained that just like Bhagavan himself descended as Sri Rama and worshipped Sriman Narayana. Sriman Narayana is the Kula Devam for Raghuvamsham. So Bhagavan himself descended as Sri Rama and he worshipped Sriman Narayana for a long time. And he did that to show us how to worship Bhagavan because nobody else can show it. Only he can show it in the best way. Even if you try to do worship, usually we recite one shlokam. Upacharabadeshena Kritanahara Namaya Apachara Niman Sarvan Shamasva Purushottama. So we always recite this. It is explained that we start doing upacharams, but we end up doing apacharams only. So we are asking for forgiveness from perumAL. Please forgive me. I started doing upacharam, but I ended up doing apacharam only. So we can only do apacharam to perumAL. Even if we try to do some seva to Bhagavan, it will not be matching his greatness. And we will do it with our own defects and faults and all that. So it will not be complete. So to show that complete method of worship, complete mood of worship, Bhagavan himself descended and manifested that, demonstrated that. Similarly, how to worship our Acharya? Who can show it? The best Acharya can show it. So Bhagavad Ramanuja is the best Acharya. So he came as maNavALa maNavAL and he showed how to worship him. So that is the Tatparyam, the essence behind maNavALa maNavAL worshipping Bhagavad Ramanuja with great affection, great arti and great devotion and so on. So that is also something to understand here. So this is the first thaniyan which we recite. After this, as I told last time also in the thOthAthri Mat, maNavALai Mat, we recite Rameja Matri Yogindra Pada Reka Mayam Sada Tada Yattatma Sattadim Ramanuja Munim Bhaje. This is the shlokam glorifying phonetical jIyar, the first jIyar of thOthAthri Matam, and the direct and foremost and the primary disciple of maNavALa maNavAL. Phonetical jIyar was inseparable from maNavALa maNavAL, Varavaramni swAmy. He became a sannyasi even before maNavALa maNavAL. When Varavaramni swAmy was a grihastha, at that time itself, um, this thOthAthri jIyar became that sannyasi and became a jIyar at that time itself. Because he was so dedicated to serve his Acharya, he didn't want to be disturbed with anything else. So without even telling his Acharya, he goes to thOthAthri, Vanamalai, the Videsham, and he gets the sannyasashrama from the perumAL himself. And then, based on the orders of maNavALa maNavAL, subsequently he establishes a maTam, and based on perumAL's orders also, he conducts that mat, he manages that mat from there. So this political jIyar is also said to be Pada Reka of maNavALa maNavAL. Pada Reka means the lines on the inside side of the feet, usually. So when maNavALa maNavAL's divine feet has lines, those lines represent political jIyar. Now, usually we cannot separate the lines from the lotus feet of Acharya. So that is why in those days, when elders were there, they said that when maNavALa maNavAL was there himself, he himself ordered Doddayangar Appai, who is one of the prime disciples of thOthAthri jIyar, first jIyar, to make this thaniyan in glorification of political jIyar. Just like maNavALa maNavAL made political jIyar sit on his own asanam and gave his own Shankha Chakra imprints and asked him to perform Panchasamskaram to those who came to surrender to him. There were many Vadula Vamsha descendants like kAlakshEpam, Koilappan. They all came to become disciples of maNavALa. At that time, he performs Panchasamskaram for many of them. And then he wants to give the same glory to jIyar, his very dear disciple. So he asked jIyar to sit on his own asanam. He gave his own Shankha Chakra imprints. And then he asked those who are present there, who were interested, they should become disciple of jIyar, and he encouraged them. Many should become disciples of jIyar. jIyar first refuses, but then he accepts based on maNavAL's divine heart. He humbly accepts that. At that time, Appachiyar Anna and then Dodengar Appai, they are all again Vadula descendants, Udaliyandan's descendants. They all became disciples of jIyar, and it was Dodengar Appai whose descendants subsequently stayed in Sholingur, Gatikachalam, and they continue to perform Kankaryam even today. So that Dodengar Appai became a very dear disciple of jIyar, and based on the orders of maNavALa, he made this thaniyan to jIyar. maNavALa wanted all his glories to be there for jIyar also. Just like he had Ashtadigajas, he appointed Ashtadigajas for jIyar also. So everything was done. And at the same, also at the end, when maNavALa was ascending to Sri Vaikuntham, at that time also, jIyar was not here. He travelled all over Bharatadesham based on the orders of maNavALa, and he started doing pracharam, and he established mutts, and many disciples came to him, and he propagated our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam. After Ramanujacharya, it was jIyar, thOthAthri. He went all over Bharatadesham, almost after 200 years of gap. So Bhagavad Ramanuja was here till 1137. After that, maNavAL's time is in 1370, Common Era. And then jIyar joins him shortly after, in about 15-20 years. And then jIyar became sannyasi at that time, and he was serving maNavALa. And maNavALa did not want to travel everywhere. He wanted to focus on reviving dhivyaprabandhams and commentaries and rahasya granthams and so on. So he focused here. He ordered jIyar to travel everywhere. So it's almost after 250, 260 years only there was large scale propagation of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya from here to all over Bharatadesham. So that was done by jIyar, and because of all of these glories in our mutt and all the temples related to our mutt, after reciting Shisha dhayApAthram, we usually recite Namija Matre, Yogindra Pada Rekamayam Sada Tada Yattatma Sattadi Ramanuja Manimbaje, this thaniyan, and then we proceed with other thaniyans just like usual. So here the meaning for this thaniyan is, I worship this thOthAthri jIyar, maNavALa jIyar, first jIyar, who is like the imprints of maNavAL's lotus feet. Just like a person's feet will have imprints, like lines. So jIyar is like that for maNavALa. And he also fully depends on maNavALa to establish his own true nature. Whenever we ask jIyar, who are you? He will say, I am maNavALa's servant. So that is his identity. So he was like that. So his identity was based on maNavALa only. So such jIyar is worshipped by me. That is the meaning of this shlokam. And here he fully depends on maNavALa for his sustenance, his activities, everything. Everything is dependent on maNavALa only. He is purely intent. His intent is to serve maNavALa only. So whatever maNavALa says, he will be doing, and that was his dedication. And hence he was given this special thaniyan, and this thaniyan is recited in our maTam and our mutt related temples and other places. So this is the second thaniyan which we usually recite in specific places. Now after this, we have 4 more thaniyans. These are common for throughout our sampradayam. Everyone recites these 4 shlokams, these 4 thaniyans. Lakshminatha Samarambam Nata Yamuna Madhyamam Asmad Acharya Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. This is a Thaniyan which is glorifying the whole Guru Parampara, collectively glorifying our Acharya Parampara. And our Acharya Parampara starts with Lakshminatha. Sriman Narayana is the first Acharya in our Sampradayam. So that is why it is said Lakshminatha Samarambam. The Parampara starts with Lakshminatha. Bhagavan is so impressed with this Acharya position. He wanted himself to be Acharya. He is Bhagavan already. He is the one who creates, who sustains, who destroys. He gives moksham, everything. He is already doing all of that. But he also desired to be an Acharya because he sees that everyone is respecting Acharya, everyone is glorifying Acharya. So we see in the world, um, we can actually see a very interesting aspect. Even Nastikas, they have Acharya. They won't accept Bhagavan, but they will accept teacher. Even Nastikas will have teacher and they will praise the teacher. They'll write poems on him. Even they'll write essays, many essays on him, glorifications. See, there are many different people in this world. Different philosophies are there. Different economic models are there. Different scientists are there. Everyone will have a guide. They will all have a guide, and they will praise that guide very greatly. They'll say, because of him only I exist, because of him only I got so much knowledge. He is the one who showed me the light of knowledge. And then for some they will put statues. If they will not accept a deity worship or any form, worshipping any form, but for their guide they'll put up statue and they'll put garland. They'll do all kinds of things. On the birthday, they'll go and worship there. They'll go and do their salutations. But this is contrary to what they are preaching. They will say that why you are going and standing in front of the statue? Does that person that know that you are standing in front of you? It is only a stone. They'll say that. But then they'll go and do the same thing. The point here is, even those who don't accept Bhagavan, they accept Guru, the one who teaches. So Bhagavan sees all of this. He sees that this Guru is always respected. So let me be also the first Guru, so that nobody else takes that position. So he becomes the first Guru, first Acharya, Prathamacharya. So Lakshminatha Samarambha, Nata Yamuna Madhyama. Our parampara is starting with Sriman Narayana, and then in the middle there is Natha Muni and Yamuna Muni. They are in the middle. Asmadacharya Pariyantam. And then up to my Acharya. One day Guru Parampara. I worship this Guru Parampara, this whole Guru Parampara. This Thaniyan was composed by Puratalwan, Puresha swAmy. So he submitted this to his Acharya Parampara up to Bhagavad Ramanuja, because Bhagavad Ramanuja was his Acharya. So he said, first we have Lakshminatha, Sriman Narayana. In the middle we have Sriman Natha maNavALa, Yamunacharya. And then there are some Acharyas. Mahapurna, Goshti Purna, they were all there. And then Bhagavad Ramanuja. So he aligned this Thaniyan according to his situation. So when Kuratalwan recited this Thaniyan, when he said Asmadacharya, it was Bhagavad Ramanuja. But this Thaniyan is applicable for everyone, even all of us. So for us, Bhagavad Ramanuja is like the centerpiece of a necklace. So he is in the middle. Our Acharya, Asmadacharya, means my Acharya. So whoever is guiding us, whoever is giving Panchasamskaram, whoever is giving Artha Panchakam knowledge. So that is the Acharya for us. And then from there up to Bhagavad Ramanuja is there. And from Bhagavad Ramanuja up to Sriman Natha maNavALa, Yamunacharya. And from him up to Bhagavan, Sriman Narayana. So this Asmadacharya will be according to who is reciting. And then from there it goes up, all the way up to Bhagavan. So this is the Thaniyan glorifying our Acharya Parampara. Our Acharya Parampara is a very special and distinct Parampara. It is not like any other parampara because we have direct continuity, unbroken chain of acharyas. There is Bhagavan, and then there is Sri Mahalakshmi, and then there is Vishwaksena, and then from there is Shatakopa Swami. Now, Shatakopa Swami Nammalwar is from 5000 years ago. How he has connection with Vishwaksena? That is based on Bhagavan's desire. Vishwaksena comes and performs Panchasamskaram to Nammalwar. This is actually given in Guru Parampara, explained in Guru Parampara. Even though Bhagavan has already given Nammalwar complete knowledge and devotion, he still wanted to establish him in the Parampara. So he arranges Vishwaksena to come and give Panchasamskaram to Nammalwar. And from Nammalwar, there is a long gap. Big gap is there. And then there is maNavALa. Now, Srimad maNavALa was not a direct inhabitant of this world when Nammalwar was there. He came much later, almost 4000 years after Nammalwar, Srimad maNavALa appeared. And he found dhivyaprabandhams. He found out about dhivyaprabandhams first, and then he goes to Alvar Tirunari. That time he meditates in front of that tamarind tree, divine tamarind tree, Tirupulli Alvar, and then he gets the vision of Sriman Nammalwar. At that time, Nammalwar performs Panchasamskaram to maNavALa. Now, even though Nammalwar has ascended to Paramadam, he still has he manifests a divine form, and then with that form he performs Panchasamskaram to Sriman maNavALa. And then from maNavALa, it continues on. Pundarikaksha, Sri Rama Mishra, Mahapurna, and then Bhagavad Ramanuja, Embar Govindacharya, Parashara Bhattar, and then Vedanti nanjIyar, Kaliveri Swami nampiLLai, and then Krishna Pada Swami Vadakatirividi piLLai, piLLai AchArya, and then Sri AchArya, and then Varavaramuni Swamiji. And from Varavaramuni Swami, we get many different Acharya Paramparas, and also 74 Simhasanadipatis, and many other Acharyas who come in this Acharya Parampara. And then the branches are there. So we still have direct connection to Bhagavan through all this Acharya Parampara, which is a very special and unique setup which cannot be seen in other Sampradayas. There may be some breaks, there may be some confusions and so on. But in our Sampradayam, that continuity is completely observed. And that is why we worship this Guru Parampara. It is because of the Acharya Parampara only we got all the knowledge which we have. Without the Acharya Parampara, we have nothing. So we have to worship our Acharya Parampara on a daily basis. So this is Lakshminatha Samarambam, Natha Yamana Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Pariyanta, Vande Guru Paramparam. And then we have the very important thaniyan, Yonityam, Achyuta Padambuja Yugmarupam, Vyamohata Staditarani, Trinayamene, Asmad Guru Bhagavatosya Dayaikasandoho, Ramanujasya Charanau, Sharanam Prapadhye. This is also composed by Puresha Swami. He is again bringing out the greatness of Bhagavad Ramanuja, and he is saying, I surrender unto such Ramanujacharya. I always remain his disciple, his servant. And that is explained in this shlokam. So, Yonityam Achyuta Padambuja Yugmarupma Vyamohata Staditarani Trunaya Mene. So, here it is said that I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Ramanuja. Bhagavad Ramanuja is the most important Acharya in our whole Sampradayam. The whole Sampradayam revolves around him. Our Sampradayam itself is known as Ramanuja Sampradayam. Embermanar Darshanam entre idharku Embermal Perettu Nati Vaita. So, Sri Ranganathan himself has established that this is Ramanuja Darshanam. Why he did that? Looking at the great efforts put by Bhagavad Ramanuja to make this Sampradayam a very worthy Sampradayam. That was done by Bhagavad Ramanuja. So to make sure that everybody understands this, Bhagavan named this Sampradayam as Ramanuja Sampradayam. Actually, we don't say Ramanuja Sampradayam that much. We usually say Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, Embermanar Darshanam, like that. Embermana Darshanam is same as Ramanuja Sampradayam. But if you go to north, they usually say Ramanuja Sampradayam. We are all Ramanujis. Ramanuja Sampradayam people only. So they relate to us as Ramanuja Sampradaya, which is good actually. That is what perumAL also desired, and that is what is being used as a nomenclature by Uttara Bharata people. So here in this shlokam, Puratalvan is saying, I surrender unto that lotus feet of Bhagavad Ramanuja, who is very attached to the lotus feet of golden lotus feet of Sriman Narayana. Achyuta Padambuja Yugma Rukma. So Achyuta is one who does not let his devotees go. He never lets them go. He always holds on to them. And then that Achyuta's Padambuja, lotus feet. Ambuja means lotus. Pada means feet. Lotus feet. Padambuja. Yugma Rukma, that pair, that golden pair. Why it is said as gold? Because gold is desirable for everyone. So Ramanuja's divine feet is also, they are also desirable for everyone. Everyone likes that. So golden feet, golden lotus feet of Sriman Narayana. And here Ramanujacharya is attached to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan's lotus feet, which is again desirable for everyone. Everyone surrenders to Bhagavan. Bhagavan himself says, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Bhuja. You surrender to me only. So everyone surrenders to his lotus feet, and who just considers everything else is a piece of grass only. So Bhagavad Ramanuja, due to his attachment towards the lotus feet of Bhagavan, he considers everything else as a blade of grass. What is the use of a grass? Nothing. So he thinks about everything else, all the wealth, all the power, all the possessions, properties, everything else is like a blade of grass for him, of no use. He is only concerned about Bhagavan's lotus feet, which doesn't let anyone go. So here Puratalvan says, I surrender unto such lotus feet of such Bhagavad Ramanuja, and that is my Acharya. Ramanujasya Charanam Sharanam Prapadye. He is my Acharya, and he is an ocean of mercy. Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho. Dayaika Sindhoho means ocean of mercy. Daya means ocean, mercy, and then Sindhu means ocean. And all other auspicious qualities. Asmat Guru, Bhagavatosya Rama, Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho. So here, he said as Bhagavad Ramanuja. Bhagavad Ramanuja means one who is having auspicious qualities like Bhagavan. So that Bhagavan has Jnana Bala Aishwarya Virya Shakti Tejas as the meaning. So similarly here also Bhagavad Ramanuja means one who has all the auspicious qualities in full. So I surrender unto the lotus feet of such Bhagavad Ramanuja. Says Puratalvan here. Puresha swAmy is very naturally attached to Bhagavad Ramanuja. He considers everything to be his Acharya's lotus feet only. He doesn't desire for anything else. Even when he lost his eyes, even when Bhagavad Ramanuja himself told, you go and pray to Lord Varadaraja, he will give the eyes. At that time also he says, I don't need the eyes, external eyes. I need the eyes only to see Bhagavad Ramanuja and Bhagavan. That internal eyes is sufficient for me. I don't need the external eyes, says Puratalvan. So such is his devotion towards Bhagavad Ramanuja, and he composed this shlokam. Yonityamachata padam bhajayukmarupam vyamohadastalitarani pranayamene asmadguror bhagavatosya dayeka sindhoho ramanujasya charanau sharanam prapadye. So we surrender unto the divine lotus feet of that Ramanuja, says Puratalvan in this shlokam. And then there is Mata Pita Yotayastanayaha Vibhuti Sarvamyadeva Niyamena Madanvayana Adyasyana Kulapatera Ukulabhiramam Srimat Tadangriyagadam Pranamami Murdhana. This shlokam is composed by Alavandar, Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya, as part of his thOthAthram, this shlokam is explained. He has composed this beautiful shlokam. Here, Alavandar, Yamunacharya says that Nammalvar's lotus feet is everything for me. Father, mother, wealth, and everything else. Whatever we think in this world, fame, name, everything. Whatever we want, it's all in Nammalvar's lotus feet only. That is how it is for me and my followers as well, all the Sri Vaishnava followers who take up my ideas based on, again it's coming in the disciplic succession, not something which is invented by Yamunacharya. Again nammalwar, and then Sriman maNavALa, and then Uyyakondar, Manakal Nambi, and then only it came to Alavandar. So here he is saying everything which is received by the mercy of all of these acharyas, whichever is there for me, those who follow me, they will also get that. And mainly, everyone should be focused on Nammalwar's lotus feet. So that Nammalwar's lotus feet is known as, that is glorified as mother, father, children, wealth, everything. So, for example, நம்மாழ்வார் சேலை கண்ணியரும் பெருஞ்செல்வமும் நன்மக்களும் மேலா தாய் தந்தையரும் அவரே இனி ஆவாரே. So there he says, சேலை கண்ணியரும், whatever I get out of women, and then பெருஞ்செல்வமும், whatever I get out of wealth, mother, father, whatever I get out of mother, father, whatever enjoyment, whatever anubhavam I get, let that come from Bhagavan only. I don't want from any materialistic enjoyments. I want only enjoyment of Bhagavan. So that is the mood of Nammalvar. The same mood of Nammalvar is manifested by Alavandar towards Nammalvar. Nammalvar shows that mood towards Bhagavan. Acharya show that mood towards Nammalvar because of Nammalvar's divine and unique position. See, unlike other Alvars, Nammalvar is present in the Guru Parampara also. So Alvar is both, Nammalvar is also Alvar and is also Acharya. Usually all Alvars are focused on enjoying Bhagavan and singing pasurams. And by their mercy, we got the pasurams. But they are not intent on sitting in a Vyasasanam and in a Acharya position and teaching others. That is not their interest. They want to reach Paramapadam as soon as possible and enjoy Bhagavan continuously. So that is their mood. Because of this, all the Alvars are in one particular platform. They are all in one particular state. But unlike other Alvars, Nammalvar sat in a position and he gave Upadesham for Madhurakavi Alvar, as an Acharya would do. He trained Madhurakavi Alvar completely, even though Madhurakavi Alvar was a great devotee and a well-versed person in Shastram. Still, Nammalvar taught him everything and trained him. Because he manifested all these qualities. And then he has also sung 4 prabandhams which are equivalent to 4 Vedams. Dhigyajur, Sama, Atharvana, Thiruviruttam, Thiruvasiriyam, Thiruvaimudi, and then Periya Thiruvangai. Samavedam is Thiruvaimudi. So he has given the essence of Vedam also. That is why he is glorified as the Acharya here. And such Nammalvar's divine feet is everything for me, says Alavandar. Not only for me, it is for all our descendants, all the Sri Vaishnavas. This is the ideal mindset, that Nammalvar's lotus feet is everything for us. That is the mindset expected out of all Sri Vaishnavas, says Alavandar in this shlokam. And here he says that Vakulabaranam, that is Vakulabaranam means one Vakulabhirama, that is one who is having Magida flowers garland, one who is decorated with this Vakula flower. So that is Nammalvar only. So that is identified in this particular pasuram. And then finally the last shlokam. Bhutam sarascha mahatakwaya bhattanatha Shri Bhaktisara Kudashekara Yogi Vahan Bhaktangri Renu Parakala Yatindra Mishran Srimad Parankushamunim Pranatosmi Nityam. So here Parashara Bhattar rendered this shlokam. Parashara Bhattar stayed in ThirukkurugaippirAn for some time. He had to live in exile for some time because he didn't like the king's activities here. The king was not a very pure hearted person. Even though he is also a disciple of Puratalwan, still he didn't want to accept Parashara Bhattar's suggestions. When the king was building a fort around the temple, Tondadipudi Alvar's Nandavanam garden came in front, in between. So at that time, Parashara Bhattar told, you work around it. Don't destroy Tondadipudi Alvar's Nandavanam garden, this garden. But that king did not listen to Parashara Bhattar. And then he also started giving some troubles to Parashara Bhattar. So Parashara Bhattar said, let me go and stay for some time in ThirukkurugaippirAn. Kuratalvan went to Thirumalayuranjolai. Parashara Bhattar went to ThirukkurugaippirAn. So he went there and he stayed there. At that time, nanjIyar comes and asks Bhattar to give some slokams to be to free him from his sorrow in separation of perumAL. So he wanted to make that change. So he asks Bhattar. At that time, Bhattar says Neela Tungastani Hridadi, that shlokam, and then this Bhutam Sarascha Mahatakvaya Bhattanatha, this shlokam, and so on. So here, in this shlokam, the meaning is, I always worship Nammalvar along with Bhutatalvar, Poigai Alvar, Peyalvar, Periyalvar, Tirumurishi Alvar, Kulashekar Alvar, Tirupan Alvar, Tondadipudi Alvar, Tirumangi Alvar, and Bhagavad Ramanuja. So again, Parashara Bhattar is saying, Bhutams Mahatakvaya. Now here, Bhutalvar is in the beginning. All the other Alvars are in sequence, but Bhutatalvar is in the beginning. Ideally, it would have been better if it was Poigai Alvar in the beginning of the shlokam, because easily he could have written. Actually, Kanchi Swami has explained this. Otherwise, we would not have known. Kanchi Swami very nicely explained. It is not very difficult to write it as Kasara Bhuta Mahadakvaya Bhakti Saran Srimad Chatari Kulashekara Bhattanathan Bhaktangri Renu Munivahana Kartikeyan Ramanujancha Yaminam Pranatosmi Nityam. This is a shlokam written by Kanchi Swami, Kanchi Pratyavadi Bhayankaram Swami. He says Bhattar could have easily written shlokam like this, starting with Kasara Yogi, that is Poigai Alvar. He could have written in the same sequence of Alvar's birth, Alvar's appearance. So Kasara is Poigai Alvar, Bhuta is Bhutatalvar, and then there is Pey Alvar, Mahatakvaya. And then Tirumurishi Alvar is Bhaktisara Alvar. And then Srimad Chatari, Nammalvar. And then Kulashekar Alvar. And then Bhattanatha is Periyalvar. Bhaktangri Renu is Tondadipudi Alvar. Munivahana, Tirupan Alvar. Kartikeyan means not Kartikeya, but he is also Parakala Swami. Tirumangi Alvar is also born in Kritika Nakshatram. So he is known as Kartikeya. And Ramanujancha and Bhagavad Ramanuja. So he could have written like this, but he did not write. He said Bhutam Sarascha Mahatakvaya. He wrote it Bhutam as the first word in the shlokam. Why is that? For that, Kanchi Swami has given a very nice explanation. Nammalvar is hailed as the chief of our Sampradayam. All the Alvars, our Sampradayam, Vaishnavas, and so on. And all the other Alvars are like his avayavam, his limbs. And there is a shlokam, a collection of shlokams which explain that this part of Nammalvar is this Alvar. So there is a particular shlokam, but in that shlokam, it is said that Bhutatalvar and Peyalvar together, they make the ice. So that is the explanation given in that. That is why instead of giving Poigai Alvar first, he says Bhutatalvar first, and then Poigai Alvar, and then Pey Alvar. So this is how he did that. So here, Bhutatalvar is highlighted as the head, and Poigai Alvar and Pey Alvar are highlighted as the eyes. So because of this traditional view, traditional explanation given by elders, Parashara Bhattar has sung this shlokam starting with Bhutatalvar, because first he explains the face and then the parts in the face, like the eyes. So that is explained by Kanchi Swami very nicely. So there he is identifying That bhutha is identified as the head, poyyalvar and payalvar are identified as the eyes, and then periyalvar is identified as the face, and then thirumurshiyalvar is identified as the neck of nammalvar. Kulashekara perumAL and thirukkurugaippirAn are identified as the hands, and then Thondadipudiyalvar is identified as the chest of Bhagavan, and then Tirumangiyalvar is identified as the navel, and then Bhagavad Ramanuja as the lotus feet. So because all of these Alvars and Bhagavad Ramanuja are identified as the different limbs, in that head is said first, and head is correlated to Bhuta Talvar. That is why in this shlokam, Bhutam Sarascha is organized by Parashara Bhattar, explains Kanchi swAmy. So this is the basic meanings for the thaniyans. We've only seen the very basic meanings. Bhutam Sarascha Mahadakwaya Bhattanatha. Here Bhutam means Bhuta Talvar. And then Sarascha, that is Poyhe is Peyalvar. Bhattanatha is Periyalvar. Sri Bhaktisara is Tirumalizhiyalvar. Here also sequence is slightly changed. That is because of that shlokam where different limbs are narrated as Nammalvar's different limbs. Different limbs relate to different alvars. So based on that only the shlokam is arranged by Parashara Bhattar. And then Kulashekara Alvar is Kulashekara Alvar. And then Tiruppan Alvar, that is Munivahana Yogi. And then Thondadipudi Alvar is Bhaktangri Renu. Then Tirumangalvar is Parakala Swami. And finally Emberumanar. So this is the meaning of the shlokam. So I worship such Nammalvar along with all of these personalities. Again, the hope, the expectation is when we go towards Alvars and Acharyas, we will be guided towards liberation and eternal service to Bhagavan. So that is what is expected here. That is what they are also praying, that we get to do eternal Kankaryam to Sriman Narayana. So that is explained in this particular shlokam. In this manner, we have seen the meanings for all the thaniyans. Subsequently, we will see in the next session Tirupallandu. So we'll see how crisply and how briefly I can explain that. If one section is not sufficient, we'll do 2 sessions. We'll see how it goes. Alvar ThirukkurugaippirAn, Emberumanar ThirukkurugaippirAn, jIyar ThirukkurugaippirAn, jIyar ThirukkurugaippirAn. பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் மல்லாண்டு என்றோல் மணிவண்ணாவும் செவிடி செவிதிற்கா படியோமோடு திருவிஞ் ஆயிரம் பல்லாண்டு ஒடிவாயினின் வளமார்ந்து வாழ்கின்ற மங்கையும் பல்லாண்டு ஒடிவார் செறி வளர்ச்சியும் சுடர் ஆழியும் பல்லாண்டு படைப்போர் குக்குமிழங்கும் அப்பாண்டி சமயம்